Do you remember your first day of actually being hired and actually realizing like, damn, like I'm in my home city. Like, Trevor Ariza done it. Toby Bailey did it. Baron Davis came back to the Clippers and did it. But you actually made it to probably where you wanted to be. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, man. You know what? It didn't really quite dawn on me till we played our first preseason game at Staples.
Mm.
And I was driving on the 110, and then I got off on Pico, and I'm pulling up to Staples like, wow,
Wow.
I'm here. I'm here. Not quite how I thought I was gonna get here, but I'm here. I'm like, okay, I am here. This
Mm.
is Staples. I'm at Staples.
Uh-huh.
So I think that first preseason game for me is when it was like it was really real,
Mm.
So it's a blessing, man, to be back home. Couldn't write a better script.
Right. Right.
I never would have thought it,
Hmm.
but it was the Most High's plan, and I'm here, and like I said, I'm enjoying it, and giving it my all.
Right. What's the daily schedule for you, like daily regimen, as it pertains to?
Well, my my days start probably about 8 a.m. Get to the office. We usually practice at 11, so I'll get there at 8, um, and kind of get my own personal stuff together in terms of planning my day
Mhm.
and what's important for me and what I got to do. Whether it's some film stuff I have to do, if I have to break down some film in terms of preparation for an opponent,
Mhm.
or if I need to put together some film for one of our bench coaches so that they can prepare for an opponent, or if I need to put together any type of film to show a player. If there's anything I want to focus on in terms of a drill with
Mhm.
the players that I work with, I kind of map all that stuff out, jot down my ideas.
Mhm.
And then from there, once I do that, I like to, go downstairs, kind of get my blood flowing,
Sure.
and get in that weight room a little bit, get a nice pump in.
Mhm.
And then from there, we have meetings. So in our meetings, I work in player development. So we talk about our goals for that particular day and our
Right.
plan for
Right.
that day.
Right.
And we get up to date with all medical stuff. We kind of come together with the medical team,
Mhm.
talk about guys, where guys are at, um, how hard we need to push guys, the level of intensity we need to go at. And then after that, I grab a quick bite to eat,
Mhm.
and then I'm down on the floor because we usually make our young players come in a couple of hours before practice.
Right.
So we give them their block time, and we get on the floor with those players, and we work, man. We
Mhm.
work. We put them in game situations. We work on their individual skill sets. We make them thinkers and reactors of the game,
Right.
and sometimes we might watch film from an individual standpoint, or even sometimes we'll just have conversation. Um, one of the big things I think is so important in coaching is building relationships. You can't just be a robot and just giving a guy, okay, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. Talk to him. How was your night last night?
Mhm.
How's your family doing? That goes a long way with players.
Yes,
Just
it does.
so that they know that they're not just a body, or you're treating them like an object. You treat them like a person. And one of the things I've done, and I think I do a pretty good job of. I have really good relationships with the players. You know, um, I just try to put myself in their seat because it's a long NBA season, and you want to be. I'm very personable myself.
Mhm.
I like to organically grow relationships. So some of these guys that I've been with for a while, or I've worked with and gone to other teams, I'm able to pick up those conversations where they left off and kind
Right.
of have a real close bond with the players.
How was?
And go ahead.
Oh, I was like, how was the bubble? How was that experience?
You know what? I didn't go to the bubble.
Oh, okay.
There are obviously restrictions in the bubble. So the NBA reduced the amount of staff each team could take drastically. And honestly, I was nervous about going to the bubble because with the pandemic going on, and my wife and my two children,
Mhm.
I wasn't exactly I wasn't totally against it, and I would have did whatever is needed because I'm a team player.
Mhm.
But I did think about being away from my family that long.
Mhm.
So when I got the call that I wasn't going to be going,
Mhm.
I wasn't upset. I was actually happy because I could be there for my family.
Right,
You
right.
know what I'm saying? So, but the work didn't stop.
I know.
Like I said, I'm big on okay. Now this is my situation. How can I help the team?
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna send whatever film needs to be sent. Um, whatever I see, I'm going to share. Uh, whatever is needed. So I was still working. We like everybody else in all industries, they took advantage of Zoom calls. I was on
Right.
Zoom. It seems like I was on Zoom calls every hour.
Wow.
So I still did whatever I needed to do, and and did the things that was necessary. Unfortunately, like everybody saw, we came up short, but that's okay. That's life.
Yeah. Right.
That's where those Westchester principles come in for me. Okay, everybody has something to say. So what? You
Right.
know, let's keep working.
Right. Right. Who when you're preparing the Clippers for games, who's some of the toughest players on the opposing team that you have to prepare for?
Well, I can't talk about individuals,
You can't talk about that. Okay. Okay.
but I can tell you this: they all are. I mean,
Yeah.
I tell you about the NBA, and this is kind of you know bringing the audience on the inside.
Yes.
These guys are really really good,
Mm.
and you can lose on any given night. I mean, you look at the scores at the end of the night. Somebody wins a game that people didn't think they would win,
Right.
and you can't take these games lightly.
Mm.
These games, every win is crucial. It's very important because you got whether higher standing teams or lower standing teams, those teams are still fighting.
Gotcha.
So preparing for the best. I mean,
Right.
when we play against a quote unquote elite player, I mean he's elite for a reason.
Right. Right. Right.
So
What's the idea of getting over the hump? We had Wes Johnson in here about 2 weeks ago. He says, "Man, when I went to the Clippers, I could totally feel like the Lakers were like the it in the city." And 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 I go to the Drew League. I'm not sure how often you go to the Drew League in the summertime
yeah,
because you're
yeah.
probably working in Vegas and stuff like that. George always says, because Clipper Darrell goes, right? Clipper Darrell goes and
Yeah.
does the thing. He says, "Hey, Clipper Darrell, y'all parade gonna be on Long Beach Boulevard."
Hey, that's all right. I'll
Yeah,
be there.
yeah.
I'll be
but
there.
but
You know what? I'm from LA, so one thing that's factual.
Mhm.
This is we know whose town this is.
Right.
And you're not changing that.
Mhm.
The history speaks for itself.
Sure.
But my mentality and our mentality is let's create our own history. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So I look forward to the day I can say, hey, I was part of the first NBA championship team with the
Wow.
LA Clippers, and
Dope.
I'm an LA guy. So that
Mhm.
to me that means a lot. That would
Mhm.
mean a lot. I would be a pioneer.
Mhm.
Being a pioneer is being the first to do something. When they look, who was on that coaching staff? Oh,
Right.
Chad Bill. Oh, Eddie is from here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And that
Yeah. So
managed
that would mean a lot because you know how it is when we were growing up. The Clippers were a laughing stock,
Oh yeah.
and despite whatever anybody's opinion is, you look at where the organization is now. It's night and day.
Mhm.
It's night and day. It's it's at a respectable level, and my mentality is I don't care what they're talking about, but as long as they talking.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. You
Yeah.
talked about things changing. How's the impact of Steve Ballmer been?
Oh, it's been incredible, man. Steve's a great owner. He cares.
It
He
looks
puts
like
his
it on
all
TV.
in. Yeah,
It
he puts
definitely looks
his
like it.
all into the organization. Uh, one of the things I was impressed with, he's very personable. He knows everybody that works for the organization. He stops and he speaks to people. He's just passionate.
Mhm.
And I know and believe we have the best owner in sports, without a
Mm.
doubt.
How's Patrick Beverley? How's being a part of he seems like
Great,
a joy.
great,
He seems like a
great, great
greatest teammate
man.
in history.
He's a great person. He's
Uh,
a great person.
uh-huh,
And he inspires me, to be honest,
uh-huh.
because uh you look at his background, he wasn't this lottery pick,
Sure
you
wasn't.
know. He had to start his career out playing overseas.
Yep,
He worked and grinded his way into the league.
yep.
And one of the things I encourage, especially young players when I talk to them, is about having a niche. And I think he's a perfect example of a guy that carved out a great niche for himself. And he's just great to be around. He brings it every single day. You
Right.
know, he brings it. He works hard. He's usually one of the first guys in the gym. He's very passionate, and I joke with him all the time. I say, "Hey, when you retire and you become a head coach, I need a job."
Oh, he's definitely gonna be a head. He's definitely gonna be coaching.
but he always says he's not going to coach. But I tell him all the time, Pat, I know what you're saying, but you're going to coach. It's just in him. But you know,
He's definitely gonna be a coach. And uh, people want me to ask you obviously about Kawhi Leonard and go into detail about his skill set and how good of a basketball player such. He actually beat Westchester in high school.
yeah, I
Yeah,
remember that. I
I was
remember
there.
that.
I was at the
I
game. I was
remember
there.
that. I
I was there.
remember that. Yeah, no, no. Kawhi, he's a master of his craft. It's great working in the NBA. Obviously you're working with the best players in the world.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of times from a fan perspective, we ask ourselves, like, how is this guy that good?
Mm.
Well, it's not magical. He literally works. He works. He's a relentless worker, and he really focuses on his craft. And it's it's no surprise to me why he's the best player in the world,
Mm.
because the amount of work he puts on into his game, and the attention to detail.
Right.
He watches film. He takes care of his body in the weight room, and his treatments, and his eating habits, and his just work habits. And you be around these players, they teach you a lot of things. They make you better too.
Wow. Yeah.
Being around a guy like Kawhi, he makes me better.
Mm.
What are my habits every day? What's my routine? He has a routine, you
Mm.
know. And I hope some young players are listening. That sounds simple, but it's so important.
Mhm.
Develop a routine for yourself, and be honest with yourself, and look at your film. Look at where you can get better at, and do the things you need to do in the gym over and over and over and over again until it's just a second nature. He's very big on repetitions, and that's why I say it, man. He's the best in the world, man.
Mm. Damn.